Hello, this is Mike Miller, and I'm here to present the FY26 budget for the Planning and Community Development Department. And so we will go quickly through a few items, including a little bit of a description about the planning department, some of the services we provide, and then we'll take a look at the budget and some of the challenges and constraints that we will have and some of the impacts to services, and then looking ahead. So my department is actually two departments. We are both the Planning and Community Development Department as well as the Building and Code Enforcement Department. And the staff here includes myself as director, Meredith Crandall, who is the Planning and Zoning Administrator, Josh Jerome, who is the Community and Economic Development Specialist, Nick Gauthier, who is our Planning and Zoning Assistant, and Michelle Savory, who is our Building Inspector. So the services that we provide fall into basically 5 different areas. We work a lot in, of course, planning, looking from broad city plans to very specific plans like historic preservation. But we also do a lot of other services, including permitting. All of the permitting runs through the city's planning department, and that includes regulations like the zoning and river hazard regulations, and also the building inspector's duties, which include the various building codes and health code enforcement. We also work closely on various projects, and that includes working with our partners, doing grant writing, grant administration, and project management for various housing projects or other projects, but also city projects, such as Country Club Road, the Vermont Emergency Management buyouts and elevations, and as I mentioned, the Community Development Program grants with our partners. We also administer programs, and programs are ongoing efforts that aren't regulations. So development of ongoing efforts such as the Housing Trust Fund and development agreements that we've been working on, and also our participation in state and federal programs like the Designated Downtown Program, the Growth Center Program, Community Rating System, which is a FEMA program that gives discounts to property owners for their flood insurance for the work that we do. And we also work on policy. So we do a lot of policy work with the City Council and the City Manager's Department. And that includes items like tax stabilizations and other related items. So what are our challenges that we have? Many of the big challenges that the city experiences, usually many of them come back to the planning department, and this includes the housing crisis that we've all been hearing about. We've been a leader on making the zoning amendments, and we are continuing to add programs. And we're also working on big solutions like Country Club Road and the Savings Pasture area. So we've got a big problem with housing, and our department is one of the leaders on trying to come up with the solutions. We're also continuing on flood recovery. So we are the key department working with property owners on buyouts and elevations, and the code enforcement. Everybody who's doing projects to recover from the floods, these new projects have to meet requirements. And we are the department that's working to try to help people negotiate those FEMA requirements and those local city requirements. And so our constraints are really come down to people and money. Currently, we have staff, provided no cuts are made and none are proposed, as we'll see coming up. And many grants require matches. And for some work, grants simply aren't available. So certain things like our TIF application for Country Club Road, we just, what do we need to be successful? We need people and we need money. And the Housing Trust Fund has not received funding this year. So we have some money left, but we don't have a lot of money in the bank. So what's our budget outlook for this year? So last year, our budget went down a small amount, but it went down a little bit from FY24 to FY25 due to a retirement. FY26, we are proposed to go up 6.65%, primarily due to health insurance and staff cost of living increases. We don't have any other operational increases in the budget. We also generate $35,000 a year in permits when it comes to the planning side. Code enforcement is up slightly more, just the way the dynamics of the department budget works. It's up 9.86%, and most of their expenses, usually we anticipate about $100,000, is covered by fees. Sometimes we can receive many more, sometimes it's less, but on average, it's about $100,000 a year. So what's our budget overview for this year? As I mentioned, the Planning and Community Development Department is up 6.65%. That's a $32,000 increase. So our new budget would be about $524,000 for this year. You can see that it is only slightly increased over the past few years. So the impacts on services, because both planning and code enforcement are going to remain fully staffed, the impacts will not be great on our services. We should be fine from that standpoint. But as we mentioned, there are two pieces to make us successful. One is the personnel and one is the money. So with housing trust funds cut from 110 to 0, economic development cut from 100,000 to 0, country club road is cut from 50,000 to 0, and even small grants, small amounts of money like community arts has been cut from 10,000 to 0. This gives us very little resources to do those grant matches and those other pieces, and this will inevitably impact advancing some key projects like the country club road site. So looking ahead, the planning and code enforcement will continue our work as we always have, planning, the permit administration, and completing currently funded projects like the buyouts, the building elevations, and those types of projects that are already ongoing. And the difficulties that we will probably be experiencing going forward are just accepting grants when we don't have matches, and being able to advance projects like Country Club Road without seed money for items that are not eligible for grants. So we have some things that we're going to have to negotiate going forward, but compared to some other departments, these are not overwhelming lifts, but they are going to be challenges that we're going to have to look at. And if you have any questions about the department or about this video, you can contact me, Mike Miller, at mmiller@montpelier-vt.org. Thank you.